Russia's push for Lyman has grown increasingly aggressive, with assaults happening almost weekly. Once under Russian control, the city is now fiercely defended by Ukraine, making every Russian gain costly in lives. Still, Russia presses on. Ukraine sees a chance to inflict major damage and turns the Lyman front into a deadly trap. With the forest cover lost, Russian troops are exposed, while Ukrainian forces, including some unexpected volunteers, capitalize on the situation. Lyman, in Donetsk, was one of the first cities Russia captured in its initial Blitz invasion. But Ukraine didn't stay down for long. A counterattack in October 2022 reclaimed what remained of the city. The city today is a shadow of its former self: ruins, damaged buildings, and roads riddled with shell craters. Ukraine isn't focused on rebuilding yet. Their priority is stopping Russia from using Lyman as a launch point for attacks on nearby towns. Although Russia launches frequent assaults, experts say these are tactical skirmishes, unlikely to break Ukrainian lines quickly. This allowed Ukraine to plan bold strategies, designed to inflict maximum damage on Russian forces. By late November, one such strategy transformed the Lyman front line into a true kill zone. The surrounding woods had long served as cover for Russian troops, but Ukraine's operations turned them into deadly traps. Ukraine is sweeping these forested areas, eliminating enemy pockets while securing approaches into the city. They are working alongside a group of U.S. volunteers, soldiers of fortune with combat experience, but not official military personnel. These volunteers, though not widely reported, play crucial roles, often tipping the balance in Ukraine's favor. Russia, meanwhile, is advancing slowly, relying on forests to hide small infiltrating units. These groups move undercover, stretching Ukrainian lines and taking advantage of bad weather. But their small numbers mean they can't hold territory for long and are vulnerable once spotted. Yet even temporary positions allow Russia to claim propaganda victories, showing flags captured despite no real control. For Ukraine, the key is turning these infiltrators' movements into predictable traps, forcing them into open areas. Yampil, a nearby settlement, is wide open and can be used to trap Russian forces, giving drones and artillery a clear advantage. Small Ukrainian assault teams, including reconnaissance and special forces, sweep the forest with drones guiding their path. They locate Russian trenches, dugouts, and ambush positions, allowing them to strike or push infiltrators back to Yampil. Winter changes the game. With leaves fallen, forests no longer conceal Russian troops. FPV drones regain range and visibility, spotting movements early and coordinating assault teams more efficiently. Ukraine now sees into Lyman's surrounding woods clearly, while Russian infiltrators lose their seasonal advantage. This winter effect is crucial. Even past conflicts show Putin's forces struggle in cold, exposed conditions. Russia's conscripts, often 18-year-olds with minimal training, face Ukraine's seasoned special forces and American volunteers. These young soldiers are the bulk of Russia's forces here, poorly equipped and highly vulnerable. U.S. volunteers, many ex-military, bring skill and composure, sometimes negotiating surrenders with trapped Russian soldiers. This is vital. Capturing enemy soldiers humiliates Putin more than battlefield deaths and boosts Ukraine's control. Snipers now operate more effectively with clear winter sightlines, engaging targets at longer distances. Combined with drone surveillance, these tactics turn the Lyman front line into a lethal trap. Russia's soldiers no longer have cover, they are exposed to drones, artillery, and sniper fire. Winter has forced Russia's infiltrators to retreat to open areas, where they can be neutralized. Meanwhile, Russian claims of taking nearby villages like Novoselivka and Stavki are dismissed as propaganda by Ukraine. Putin's troops are left trapped, poorly equipped, and facing elite Ukrainian and American forces. Many are without helmets, armor, or basic supplies, fighting effectively naked in a deadly environment. Ukraine's forest clearance and winter conditions have turned Lyman into an impenetrable fortress for now. Russia may claim progress, but the reality on the ground tells a very different story. The winter has shifted the balance. Ukrainian defense is holding, traps are set, and every Russian move is monitored. Lyman will not fall this season. The city's survival hinges on strategic foresight, superior training, and now, the season itself. Russia's soldiers are exposed, and Ukraine's drones, snipers, and volunteers ensure that Lyman remains untouchable, for now. For more updates on the Donetsk front, follow the Military Show, where we track the ongoing struggle in Lyman. Russian units, frustrated by repeated losses, try to regroup, but supply lines are stretched thin. Fuel shortages, broken communications, and constant drone surveillance hinder their movements. Ukraine's use of small, mobile teams keeps Russia guessing and forces them into defensive positions. Every forest trail and destroyed road becomes a potential ambush, turning the battlefield into a chessboard. Artillery has become a game-changer. Ukraine carefully coordinates indirect fire to pin down Russian units. Even brief moments of hesitation or misstep can lead to devastating losses for exposed troops. The Russians' numerical advantage is blunted by geography, weather, and superior reconnaissance. Meanwhile, Ukrainian troops use the city's ruins as firing positions, spotting anyone attempting to advance. These tactics allow Ukraine to inflict damage without exposing themselves unnecessarily. Civilians are mostly gone, evacuated during earlier phases, which allows more aggressive defensive measures. Still, remnants of daily life, abandoned toys, furniture, personal belongings paint a grim picture. Russian forces, encountering repeated ambushes, resort to artillery bombardments instead of direct engagement. This destroys infrastructure but achieves little militarily, costing them ammunition and morale. Drone footage shows long columns of Russian forces halted at choke points, struggling to regroup. Ukrainian soldiers, often guided by intelligence from volunteers, strike precise targets efficiently. Some reports mention ghost units, special Ukrainian teams that strike and disappear before Russia can respond. These operations create the perception of omnipresence, adding psychological pressure on Russian troops. Winter snow complicates movement but also leaves footprints, making infiltration obvious. Ukraine uses thermal imaging to detect movement and pinpoint isolated groups for elimination. Some Russian commanders attempt counterattacks, but poor coordination leads to repeated failure. Without secure communications, each small defeat cascades into larger operational problems. Morale among Russian troops is reportedly declining, with many questioning the strategic plan. Ukrainian forces, by contrast, are motivated, well-supplied, and supported by Western intelligence. Volunteer units, though small, provide experience in urban and forest warfare that regular troops lack. This expertise is critical for clearing areas near Lyman, forcing Russian units into predictable paths. Precision strikes, guided by drones, maximize effect while minimizing risk to Ukrainian troops. Every Russian maneuver is carefully monitored, leaving little room for surprise attacks. The situation shows that even superior numbers cannot overcome terrain, intelligence, and preparation. Lyman has become an illustration of modern defensive warfare. Information and technology outweigh brute force. Russia's repeated assaults illustrate desperation more than strategy. They seek quick wins but encounter well-prepared defenses, with losses mounting every day. Meanwhile, Ukraine leverages winter conditions, drones, and volunteers to hold strategic advantage. Artillery, reconnaissance, and special forces coordination create a deadly synergy for anyone attempting to advance. Russian troops attempting infiltration are increasingly forced into open ground, making them easy targets. The psychological effect is notable. Soldiers are cautious, hesitant, and often freeze under pressure. Ukraine's defensive operations combine tactical efficiency with overwhelming observation. Even small units, if strategically positioned, can halt much larger Russian contingents. The winter campaign highlights how weather and terrain can neutralize numerical superiority. Russia's hope lies in either reinforcements or improved coordination, but both remain uncertain. Ukraine's forces, meanwhile, continue clearing forests, controlling roads, and securing high ground. Drone reconnaissance ensures no Russian movement goes unnoticed, turning each action into a risk. The city of Lyman itself is silent but deadly, with every ruin acting as a potential defensive position. Winter reinforces Ukraine's advantage, exposing Russian troops and giving defenders perfect visibility. Even supply convoys moving toward the front are vulnerable to drone-guided strikes. Morale among Ukrainian forces remains high, bolstered by successful operations and public support. Russian soldiers, in contrast, face harsh conditions, dwindling supplies, and constant pressure from volunteers. Small victories for Ukraine, capturing trenches, eliminating infiltrators, have an outsized effect. Russia struggles to gain meaningful ground, while every failed assault erodes confidence and capacity. The dynamics at Lyman illustrate a broader truth of the conflict: technology, preparation, and adaptability often trump sheer force. Every week, Russia launches attacks, but Ukraine adapts faster, using information superiority to its advantage. Winter, volunteers, drones, and terrain combine to make Lyman an effective defensive stronghold. While Russian headlines claim progress, the ground reality tells a story of slow, costly advances under heavy resistance. Ukraine's calculated approach maximizes enemy losses while minimizing their own exposure. The city is a warning: even the most aggressive assaults can be neutralized with proper planning and tools. The human cost for Russia is mounting, while Ukraine carefully preserves its forces for decisive moments. Every Russian advance into forests or roads is observed, calculated, and countered. As daylight fades, Russian units struggle to maintain formation, often losing track of neighboring squads. Night operations are hampered by lack of infrared equipment, giving Ukraine a tactical edge. Ukrainian teams move under cover of darkness, striking lightly and disappearing before retaliation. Russian attempts to dig in are hindered by frozen ground, slowing construction of defensive positions. Supply shortages become more acute as trucks are delayed, captured, or destroyed along the way. Each skirmish drains ammunition and morale, while Ukrainian forces efficiently rotate troops. Intelligence from local volunteers guides artillery, making every shell count and disrupting Russian logistics. Drones constantly survey Russian positions, spotting weaknesses before the enemy can react. Ukrainian sharpshooters take advantage of elevated ruins, forcing Russian patrols to avoid open areas. Attempts to counterattack are piecemeal, often resulting in isolated units being encircled. The rhythm of warfare is asymmetric: small, fast Ukrainian units versus slow, cumbersome Russian formations. Winter weather amplifies challenges: slippery roads, heavy snow, and freezing temperatures stall movements. Russian soldiers are forced to march in open areas, making them visible to reconnaissance and drones. Ukrainian artillery positions adjust constantly, exploiting every observed weakness. Even minor errors in communication among Russian units result in missed opportunities and chaos. Some Russian commanders attempt night raids, but lack of coordination leads to heavy casualties. Ukrainian forces treat every intersection and ruined building as a potential kill zone. Civilians remain mostly absent, allowing defenders to focus purely on tactical efficiency. Russian artillery is used indiscriminately, sometimes destroying structures with little strategic benefit. Meanwhile, Ukrainian drones transmit real-time data, directing precise strikes on high-value targets. Frozen rivers and snowy terrain slow mechanized units, exposing them to ambushes. Supply convoys are carefully watched, with any movement triggering pre-planned artillery fire. Small Ukrainian squads maintain mobility, using terrain to their advantage and striking unpredictably. Each engagement is analyzed, and lessons are applied immediately to the next encounter. Russian morale drops as the disparity between expectation and reality grows, with high-ranking officers frustrated. Meanwhile, Ukrainian forces leverage Western-supplied artillery, drones, and intelligence to maintain initiative. Volunteer units play a crucial role in scouting, spotting artillery targets, and guiding reinforcements. Even small groups of defenders can delay or repel larger forces when well coordinated. Russian attacks into urban ruins are met with ambushes, sniper fire, and unexpected obstacles. The pace of the battle demonstrates that superior numbers alone do not guarantee success. Every misstep exposes Russian troops to counterfire, further eroding confidence and effectiveness. Ukrainian forces maintain flexibility, retreating when necessary and striking opportunistically. Winter conditions are exploited defensively, slowing mechanized units and channeling movement into predictable paths. Drone surveillance ensures that nothing moves undetected, turning terrain and weather into force multipliers. Russian units are increasingly reliant on slow, vulnerable supply lines for fuel and ammunition. Each encounter depletes resources while reinforcing Ukraine's defensive advantages. The psychological impact of constant drone monitoring cannot be overstated, sapping initiative and morale. Even experienced soldiers hesitate, aware that every move is being watched and exploited. Ukrainian defenders use minimal forces for maximum effect, leveraging intelligence and terrain knowledge. Russian artillery, though heavy, often misses due to outdated targeting and poor reconnaissance. Drone footage allows Ukrainian commanders to constantly adjust positions, predicting enemy responses. Small, coordinated strikes disrupt Russian movements, preventing concentration of force. The result is a slow, grinding battle where Ukraine dictates the tempo and chooses engagements. Russian attempts at maneuver warfare are frustrated by terrain, intelligence gaps, and relentless observation. Every advance into forests, ruins, or roads risks ambush, artillery, or sniper fire. Ukraine's strategy combines patience, precision, and mobility to maximize defensive efficiency. Russian forces find themselves reacting rather than initiating, always a step behind. Winter conditions slow movement, reduce visibility, and further favor defenders familiar with the terrain. Supply shortages and disrupted communications compound Russian difficulties, making coordination nearly impossible. Ukrainian artillery teams exploit this, targeting concentrations and cutting off attempted retreats. Special operations teams reinforce weak points and seize opportunities presented by enemy missteps. Each Russian defeat is documented, analyzed, and turned into lessons for upcoming defensive maneuvers. Ukrainian forces remain disciplined, maintaining supply, morale, and strategic patience. Drone and artillery coordination becomes a force multiplier, turning small numbers into high effectiveness. Russian morale continues to erode, with reports of hesitation and lack of initiative at the front lines. Ukraine's superior intelligence and coordination allow them to choose when and where engagements occur. Even with numerical inferiority, Ukrainian units inflict disproportionate damage on Russian formations. The winter campaign at Lyman demonstrates that preparation, technology, and morale outweigh brute force. As night approaches again, Russian units are forced to halt, regroup, and anticipate attacks that may never come. Meanwhile, Ukrainian defenders maintain readiness, controlling terrain and dictating the pace of conflict. For every Russian advance, Ukraine has already planned countermeasures, keeping the initiative firmly in their hands. The battle becomes one of attrition, intelligence, and tactical precision rather than sheer numbers. Russian forces face mounting losses, logistical difficulties, and continuous observation, limiting their options. Ukrainian forces, with volunteers, intelligence, and drones, continue to shape the battlefield to their advantage. The city of Lyman stands as a testament to defensive warfare, resilience, and strategic ingenuity. Every ruined building and snow-covered road is leveraged to maximize defensive efficiency. Russian troops, exhausted and demoralized, struggle to find effective strategies amidst constant observation. Ukrainian artillery, drone guidance, and flexible troops continue to dominate engagements. The strategic lesson is clear: initiative, intelligence, and adaptability can overcome larger forces. Russian hopes for quick success are repeatedly frustrated by careful planning and precise execution. As winter deepens, Lyman illustrates how modern warfare relies on information, technology, and morale as much as manpower. Even the most aggressive assault cannot succeed without preparation and real-time intelligence. For Russian forces, the harsh reality of Lyman is a lesson in the limits of brute force against well-prepared defenders. Ukrainian units, meanwhile, continue to exploit every weakness, maintain morale, and control the tempo. The conflict at Lyman becomes a model of modern defensive warfare, precise, patient, and technologically informed. Winter, volunteers, drones, and careful observation create a synergy that magnifies defensive capability. Russian attempts to adapt are slow, reactive, and increasingly ineffective in the face of Ukrainian coordination. Thus, the struggle for Lyman highlights the evolving nature of warfare in the 21st century.